Rose Basketball Club is the first Unrivaled champion.
Angel Reese just claimed a championship with hardly any challenge, and while she was showing off the trophy like she'd revolutionized the WNBA, the viewership numbers were tanking. Seriously, did anyone actually watch this game? Meanwhile, her fans are acting like she's the savior of women's basketball. But let's be real, this league is still in its early stages, so how did Angel Reese manage to dominate and yet still fall short where it truly counts? On a side note, hey there, I'm doing great. Just 150 on a flight. I know you've probably heard, but I've got to be honest. I'm still on my rookie contract, and that 50 was over half of it. So, yeah, gotta keep that one under wraps.
Unrivaled ratings video. The playoffs are finished. The championship game has concluded. The numbers are in. After debuting with 313,000 viewers, Games 1, Games 2 on opening night, after having ratings for the 1v1 tournament, semifinals, and final, averaging 377,000 viewers, the Unrivaled Championship game ratings comes in at a staggering 260,000 views.
Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky just snagged the first ever Unrivaled Championship. Such a historic achievement, right? It's being talked about like it belongs in the same category as winning a participation trophy or just showing up to work on time. The way some are celebrating, you'd think she solved world hunger, not won a league that's about as competitive as a casual neighborhood pickup game. But hey, let's all give a round of applause to the self-proclaimed queen of dominance.
The Rose just made history and just became 50K richer, you feel me? Because they just won the Unrivaled League first ever championship, man. I ain't gonna hold y'all. If y'all missed this Unrivaled season, yo, you missed one hell of a good one and a competitive one. And shout out to Chelsea Gray, yo, for winning the finals MVP.
As if the universe wasn't already handing out awards like Oprah giving away cars. You get a trophy, you get a trophy, everybody gets a trophy. Angel Reese somehow finds her way to the Defensive Player of the Year title. Defensive brilliance? More like a master at flailing her arms and giving fierce stares after every basic rebound. But hey, don't question it. The stats say she's a defensive powerhouse, and when have stats ever been wrong? Never, right? It's not like there's a massive PR machine working overtime to convince everyone she's the next Dennis Rodman. Nope, totally all natural, just pure skill and heart.
And today, as we stand, one Angel Reese has been named the Defensive Player of the Year. Stab us all right in the eye hole, right? Oh my goodness. Oh, her fans, they're trying to take victory laps today over this, except a lot of people, a lot of hoops fans, real basketball fans are calling this for what it is. It's a sham. I mean, let's be honest, right?
Let's talk about this so-called Unrivaled League. Oh, it's definitely unrivaled. Unrivaled in the sense that no one else is even playing. You know what a real flex is? Being the best in a tournament where half the big names didn't even bother to show up. That's like walking into an empty gym, sinking a layup, and calling yourself the MVP. But hey, when you're building a brand, you take what you can get. So here we are, hyping up a title that feels as earned as a Hollywood kid's first movie role.
All season long. But I want every person in here, from the players to the coaches, to the fans, to the media, to really take a second to soak in this moment. This is history.
And then there's the Defensive Award. What a display of tenacity, hustle, and grit. Or maybe just a lot of wild swiping at the ball and giving opponents a death stare like they owe her money. And if you even suggest that there might have been other players more deserving, watch out. You'll be called a hater or worse. Someone who doesn't respect women's basketball because apparently questioning greatness is now some kind of crime.
They lost to Lunar House comfortably. Beat the Laces in a close one. They lost to the Mist. The Mist were trying towards the end. They beat the Phantom. In a lot of close games, they played really well. And they played really, really well after the break.
But let's not overlook the real trick here, turning routine basketball plays into headline news. The constant effort to craft a legend in real time is honestly something to behold. Every block, every rebound, and every flex is broken down, overanalyzed, and turned into a defining moment. Meanwhile, true all-time greats are just out there, quietly doing their thing without needing a full media circus every time they step onto the court. So, get ready for the next round of over-the-top celebrations, maybe a parade, or even a statue, perhaps the city of Chicago renamed in her honor. Why not? At the rate this hype train is moving, we're only a couple weeks away from someone calling her the greatest athlete of all time. But hey, if we're giving out awards for just showing up, we might as well make it official. Someone call the Hall of Fame because it's Angel Reese's world. We're all just living in it, whether we like it or not.
And honestly, man, I don't know how they even decided the Defensive Player of the Year, because I had a few players that I had in mind that could have won this award. But to say that Angel Reese wasn't playing good defense and didn't deserve this award, that would be a lie, man. Because throughout the season, she had moments where not only did she lock up the best bigs or play great defense on the best bigs, she also stole the ball from some of the best ball.
So, Angel Reese's wrist had enough and tapped out again, just when the team was on the verge of winning without her. You can't make this up. While she was off recovering from the same wrist that already had its moment in surgery, Rose BC casually went out and claimed the championship title like it was no big deal. No drama, no theatrics, just good old basketball. Let's be real. If Angel had been on the court, this would have probably turned into another episode of the Angel Reese Show, with the actual game taking a backseat to her exaggerated reactions and questionable shot choices. But instead, without her, the team somehow played better, passing, defending, winning, all while their so-called superstar was in street clothes, probably preparing her next round of overly dramatic, unnecessary social media posts. But don't worry, she'll be back soon, probably with a new injury excuse or some wild conspiracy theory about how the universe is out to get her. Meanwhile, her team will just keep proving they don't actually need her. Tough break, literally.
That's got to be the first thing. And by the way, we're doing victory laps today. Angel Reese fans are celebrating a championship that she didn't even take part in the playoffs for. Are you serious right now? I would argue the team got better and won it because she didn't play. This should be frightening to Chicago Sky fans.
The ratings are in, and wow, what a complete disaster. Turns out the Unrivaled League is about as popular as a soggy bowl of cereal, fans nowhere to be found, viewers practically non-existent. But don't worry, Angel Reese is still talking. Yep, while the league is struggling to stay afloat, Angel's out here acting like she just won MVP of Twitter engagement. Maybe, just maybe, instead of turning every game into a personal drama, she could, actually play basketball. But no, that would be too easy. Instead, she's perfected the art of doing the bare minimum on the court while doing the absolute most of it. Meanwhile, the league is practically begging people to tune in, throwing out promos like free samples at a grocery store, and still, nothing. It's almost impressive. Imagine being the loudest voice in the room while the whole house is on fire. But don't worry, Angel will surely have some deep, insightful excuse as to why none of this is her fault. Maybe it's the refs, maybe it's the haters, or maybe, just maybe, people are starting to realize that all the noise doesn't equal greatness.
Here's the caveat, folks. TNT, they come out with their own graphic. And their own graphic boasts of a 364,000 average viewer for the finals. 385,000 peak viewership for the Unrivaled finals. We'll touch on those other numbers later. But up 99% from the regular season, 364,000 average, folks. If we look at the Unrivaled playoffs, Laces versus Rose, that was broken down to both TNT ratings and True TV ratings. Yet for the championship game, somewhere in transition, somewhere along the pecking order, I guess the True TV ratings got lost.
Oh, what a time to be alive. The Unrivaled League just wrapped up, and surprise, nobody watched. Turns out, slapping a fancy name on something and pretending it's a game changer doesn't automatically make people care. Who knew? Ratings dropped, interest disappeared, and somewhere in a boardroom, executives are probably scratching their heads, wondering why their groundbreaking product flopped harder than a bad reality show. But don't worry, while the league was out here struggling to keep even a handful of people interested, Angel Reese was still making noise like she just won a championship by talking. Yep, the same Angel Reese who wasn't anywhere near the MVP podium or the final spotlight, but somehow always manages to be front and center when it's time to stir things up. She could use this moment to reflect, strategize, or maybe even take a break. But nope. Why do that when you can hop online and remind everyone that you are the storyline, even when the actual sport is falling apart behind you?
Folks, it's over. Or it's close to it. If it's not over, it's close to it. I'm at that point where I think we are at a point of no return. I think we have hit a level where there are problems and they are starting to punch you right in the face. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the Unrivaled television ratings from Friday night, their best night, and they are bad. They just keep getting worse.
The funniest part is it's not like she was tearing it up on the court to justify all this extra energy. No record-breaking performances, no jaw-dropping dominance, just vibes. Lots and lots of vibes. And an occasional tweet that'll get ESPN analysts foaming at the mouth because at this point they'd rather talk about drama than acknowledge the fact that the league is basically playing to empty arenas. It's actually impressive in a way. The league desperately needed someone to sell the product, to keep fans engaged, to make people care, and yet, instead of elevating the game, we got a masterclass in how to stay trending for everything except basketball. Is this some kind of performance art, a social experiment, a new age marketing strategy where the goal isn't winning, but looking like a winner as loudly as possible?
They wonder why no one is supporting their secondary dump. They wonder why no one is watching pretend basketball. Maybe if they focused on the actual basketball instead of focusing on their weird utopian fantasies, maybe their dump would be upgraded to a polished turf.